Allergies. An allergy is a medical condition that results in swelling, eczema, runny noses, watery eyes, for some people death, and many other symptoms. They cause your immune system to react extremely to foreign substances that may otherwise be harmless. A substance that a person is allergic to is called an allergen. In order to explain what allergies and antihistamines are, let me tell you a story. One day, I went to a park that had many birch trees. It happened to be spring and there was pollen in the air, so when I breathed, I inhaled birch pollen as well. For an average person, this is completely normal, but some people like me have immune systems that are prone to confusing harmless substances with pathogens. So when the birch pollen entered my body, my immune system panicked and released a type of antibody called IgEs. In this case, the IgE had the sole purpose of detecting birch pollen. The released IgEs bond to my mast cells, which are a type of white blood cells filled with granules that contains histamine and other substances. The mast cells and the IgE together acts like an alarm system. The next day, oblivious to what was happening in my body, I decided to go to the park again. I, who still breathed, don't get me wrong, I was still alive, breathed in the birch pollen. Some of the IgE detected the invader, notifying the mast cell who had been preparing its whole life for this exact moment. The mast cell released histamine and other chemicals into the surrounding microenvironment. Some nerves in the area got stimulated by the histamine and caused itchiness. The histamine triggered some of the receptors lining the outside of blood vessels. This caused the vessels to dilate, which led to redness and also made the blood vessels more permeable. Because of the increased permeability, more white blood cells could reach the affected area to fight off the invaders now, which was a good thing, but you also have to remember that there's other fluids and blood as well, and when these fluids leak, they cause swelling, runny noses, and watery eyes. Currently, there are no known cures for allergies, but there are some effective treatments, like avoiding allergens or using steroids or antihistamines. Some common types of antihistamine medications are Benadryl, Zyrtec, and Claritin. Antihistamine work by blocking receptors on blood vessels so that the histamine can't trigger them and cause allergic reactions. The first antihistamine was discovered in 1937 by Daniel Bové, a Swiss-Italian pharmacologist. Before he synthesized the first antihistamine, he synthesized the antagonist of adrenaline. An antagonist is a substance that balances or equalizes another substance. After his discovery of the antagonist of adrenaline, he tried to find the antagonist of histamine. To his surprise, he could not find any substances like that, so then he looked for a substance that had a similar chemical structure to histamine, so he could modify its antagonist to work for histamine. When he discovered that adrenaline had a similar chemical structure to histamine, he modified its antagonist. He had discovered the first antihistamine. The first antihistamine he synthesized was toxic to humans, so he continued his experiment and research until he had found the first human-friendly antihistamine in 1941. Now, thanks to him and other scientists who contribute to this discovery, we have these medications that are more effective than home remedies. And that's why I can stay outside and breathe the fresh air without caring about those birch pollen.